Hello and welcome. In this video, I'll be showing you all the default editor shortcuts for Godot. Let's get started. Control and F1 will send you to the 2D editor. Control and F2 will send you to the 3D editor. Control and F3 sends you to the script editor. Control and F4 will send you to the game window. Control and F5 will send you to asset library. Hitting F1 will open up the search help. Control, Shift, and F11 will enable distraction-free mode. Control and Tab will go to the next scene. Control Shift Tab will go to the previous scene. And if you just keep hitting Control Tab, it will cycle. Hitting Control Alt P will immediately put you down in the filter files section of the file browser so you can immediately start looking for something. Control and O will allow you to open a scene up. Control Shift W will close a scene. If you didn't mean to do that, hit Control Shift T to reopen it. Control S will save the scene. Control Shift S will allow you to save a scene as if you need to make a copy. If you have multiple unsaved scenes, you can hit Control Shift Alt S to save all of your scenes at once. Shift Alt O will allow you to quick open a resource. Control Shift O will allow you to quickly open a scene. Control Alt O will allow you to quickly open a script. If you make a mistake, hit Control Z to undo it, and you can also hit Control Shift Z to redo your mistake. Hitting Control Q will quit out. Hitting Control F12 will take a screenshot right in your project folder. You can toggle full screen with Shift F11. Pressing F5 will run your game. While the game is running, if you press F9, it will pause it. Pressing F8 will stop it from running. If you want to play the scene that you have currently open, just hit F6. If you want to select the scene that you want to play, hit Control, Shift, and F5. To expand the bottom panel, use Shift and F12. If you need to access the command palette, it's Control, Shift, P. Now for the bottom panel shortcuts, if you hit Control J, it will toggle your last open panel. Alt N will toggle the animation bottom panel. Alt A will toggle the audio bottom panel. Alt plus D will toggle the debugger bottom panel. Alt plus O will toggle the output bottom panel, and Alt plus S will toggle your shader editor. These are the shortcut keys for the 2D or canvas item editor. You can zoom in with Control plus the equals key. You can zoom out with Control plus your minus key, and reset the zoom with Control plus 0. You can pan the view by holding down your spacebar and clicking and dragging. You can enter select mode, which is this mode, with Q. You can enter move mode with W. You can enter rotate mode with E. You can enter scale mode with R. And you can enter ruler mode with M on the keyboard. You can enable and disable smart snapping with Shift and S. You can enable and disable grid snapping with Shift and G. Let's say I'm trying to move something around the 2D viewport like this. This blue outline is a helper. If you hit H on the keyboard, you can hide them. If you hit H again, you can bring them back. Let's say you bring down some guides like this. If you want to show and hide these, you press Y on the keyboard. If you want to center on something that you've selected, just hit F on the keyboard. And if you want to frame it more, hit Shift and F. If you have something selected and you have an animation player with an animation that you're trying to make, if you hit Insert, it will allow you to add 2 position rotation keyframes. Then you can just quickly press it again and do that. It only seems to work for position rotation. I do wish you could do it with other properties. Pressing Control, Shift, and B will allow you to make custom bones from nodes, as you can see here. Lastly, let's pretend that this is a bone in your skeleton 2D rig. If you need to clear your pose, just hit Shift and K. Now for the 3D editor or the spatial editor shortcut keys, normally you orbit around things with a middle mouse button, or you can hold the right mouse button to look around. If you want to enable free look mode, hit Shift and F. When you do this, you can now move around like a first-person shooter. So with WASD, you can go up by pressing E. You can go down by pressing Q. If you need to move quicker, you can hold down the Shift key. And if you need to move slower, you can hold down Alt. Similar to the 2D workspace, if you hit Q, you'll enter transform mode. W enters move mode. E will enter rotate mode. And R will enable scale mode. If you want to enter select mode, that's V. If you want to enable local space, that's T on the keyboard. And if you want to enable snapping, that's Y. Let's say you have an object above the ground and you don't want to move it around all the time. You can just press page down on your keyboard to have it automatically fall down to the geometry below it. If you have an animation player open, you can hit K to insert a keyframe, as well as create a reset track. If you want to focus on the origin of a selection, you just press O on the keyboard. And if you want to focus on the selection itself, you hit F. If you have multiple things selected, you hit F, it'll go in the middle of them. Let's say you have an object selected and you want to align its transform with your view, you hit Control, Alt, and M. If you also want to align its rotation with your view, you hit Control, Alt, and F. To enable 2 viewports, you hit Control and 2. If you want to go back to 1 viewport, it's Control and 1. An alternative 2 viewport view is Control, Alt, and 2. To get 3 viewports, it's Control and 3. An alternate, Control, Alt, 3. 4 viewports is Control, 4. Let's go over some basic text editing shortcut keys. Control X will cut, Control C will copy, Control V will paste. You can select everything with Control A. If we need to find something, it's Control F, and then you can type it in like that. You need to find the next thing, you can hit Enter. You can also use F3. If you want to move backwards, it's Shift and F3. To find within your files, it's Control, Shift, and F. If you need to replace something, it's Control R. And you'll type in at the top what you're looking for and what you want to replace it with. If you need to replace something across your files, that's Control, Shift, and R. And you can do the same thing here. You can, of course, undo things you've done with Control Z. You need to redo that, Control Y. With the cursor on a line, you can use Alt plus the up arrow to move it up, Alt plus down to move it down. To delete a line, it's Control, Shift, K. To turn a line into a comment, that's just Control K. If you need to duplicate a line, that's Control, Alt, and the down arrow. To duplicate just a selection, select it and hit Control, Shift, D. If you need to select down, it's Control, Shift, down arrow. Same with going upwards. If you want to select the next occurrence of something, highlight it and then hit Control, D. If you need to bring up symbol completion, it's just Control and space. If you have extra white space in your file, such as if you did this and then you saved it, you can get rid of that by hitting Control, Alt, and T. If you need to uppercase something, that's Shift and F4. If you need to lowercase it, it's Shift and F5. If you need to capitalize something, that's Shift and F6. If you need to convert indentation to spaces, that's Control, Shift, and Y. If you need to convert spaces back to indentation, that's Control, Shift, I. If you need to auto indent, that's just Control and I. If you need to make a bookmark, that's Control, Alt, and B. You can now move between them with Control B to go forward. Control, Shift, B will go backwards. If you need to go to a function, that's Control, Alt, and F. If you need to create a breakpoint, that's F9. Pressing it again will get rid of it. You have multiple breakpoints. You can get rid of all of them with Control, Shift, and F9. You can move between breakpoints with Control period, go backwards with Control comma, and you can get contextual help with Alt and F1. For more scripting specific shortcuts, we have Control, Shift, and period to move to the next script. You can go to the previous one, Control, Shift, and comma. If you close down a script and reopen it with Control, Shift, and T. You can move through your history of access scripts with Alt left arrow or Alt and right arrow to go forward. To close something you have open, it's Control W. If you have a tool script that you want to run, you just use Control, Shift, and X. To toggle this side panel, the scripts panel, it's Control and backslash. You can zoom in with Control and the equals key, zoom out with Control and the minus key, Control and 0 to reset it. You can clear out the editor output with Control, Alt, and K. If you look over to the file browser here, we also have some useful shortcuts. If you have something selected, you can use Control, Shift, C to get its path. If you have it selected and do Control, Alt, C, you'll get its absolute path. And then if you have it selected and you do Control, Shift, Alt, C, you'll get its UID. In the scene tree doc, hitting Control A will allow you to add a child node. Selecting a node and then using Control, Shift, C will let you copy its node path. Using delete brings up a prompt to delete something. If you don't like that, you can hold down Shift and delete and it'll just immediately delete it. To duplicate a node, that's Control D. And if you need to move a node up and down, that's Control and up arrow or down arrow. In the animation track editor, if you want to duplicate a keyframe, put your cursor where you want it to be, and then with it selected, hit Control D, and you can also edit it immediately here. If you want to move along the track, you can hold down Control and use the left and right arrows to move in small increments. In the TileMap Editor, you can enter selection mode with S on the keyboard. You select something, you hit Control X to cut it, Control C will copy it, and Control V will paste it right here. And you can quickly exit the TileMap editor with Escape. D will move you into paint mode. L will switch you into line mode. R will switch you over to rect mode. B will switch you to bucket mode. P will change to picker mode. E will enter eraser mode. When you have a tile selected, you can press C to flip it horizontally. You can press V to flip it vertically. You need to rotate it left, hit Z. If you want to rotate it right, hit X. Finally, in the project manager, Control N will let you make a new project. Control I will start the process to import a project. Scan for projects is Control S. Edit project is Control E. Run project is Control R. And you can rename a project with F2. If you want to get rid of a project, you can hit delete. Well, that'll be it for the Godot editor shortcuts video. I hope it was helpful. Thank you for watching. Goodbye.